late. We are at Fatehnagar.
Shantanu,
We are crossing Fatehnagar. मैंने रोक लिया।
Shantanu, unmute yourself once.
इंटरनेट रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहता, फिर निकलता हूँ।
You are live, sir.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
bye. Okay, okay, okay.
A very good morning and a thank you to all dear participants. Welcome to the WOW series, Words of Wisdom, to be hosted by Vedanta College Kolkata today. I have the pleasure with me, Mr. Kallol Dutt today, who is the guest for the series. Before we kickstart for the program, I would request our chief guest, Mr. Surojit Roy, who is the head of Vedanta Foundation, to just say a few words about the Vedanta Foundation and the motive behind this WOW series. Over to you, Mr. Surojit Roy.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Sen, for giving us this opportunity. Before I talk about the Vedanta Foundation and the WOW series, it is a pleasure for me to welcome Mr. Kallol Dutt, who is the Joint Labor Commissioner of the West Bengal government, and we are very grateful to him to have spared his time and to interact with the students of the Vedanta College and the entire Vedanta Foundation community. So the WOW series is Words of Wisdom. So it's a series we run, and we have been running it quite steadily before the COVID interruption. And the idea is that every month at least we have some luminary to come and interact with the students and encourage them and share their experiences and share words of wisdom with them so as to encourage them in their lives as far as their careers go for the future. The Vedanta Foundation basically is focused on facilitating livelihoods for the unemployed youth or youngsters who are still in college. And there are two basic streams in which the Vedanta Foundation is working. One is the formal education segment. We have a school in Jaipur, and we have three colleges, one in Calcutta, one in Jaipur, which is Ringas, and one in Mumbai. So here we are trying to run higher education degree courses and some post-graduation courses. But more than that, what we are trying to do is position these colleges as community colleges. So apart from graduation, it will link up the community around and facilitate livelihood courses for them, livelihood linked courses for them, whether it's short-term skilling, which is employer map, or mid-term skilling in terms of diplomas and certificate courses on the demand of the local industry around. And the idea is that this college runs from morning till late evening, trying to serve the community and linking them up with different livelihood opportunities in different ways. So that is one segment. It's called Vedanta Shiksha. The other segment is to facilitate livelihood for the not so fortunate who drop out from the formal systems and are unable to carry on in schools or colleges. There we are running Rozgar centers. We have about 250 centers now. Now we have about 200, but we are adding at least 70, 80 more during this current month. So all over India, which is running livelihood linked, demand based, employer map, short term skilling courses which are NSQF aligned for such a community. So they are situated in urban, semi-urban, and mostly rural areas. So this is broadly what Vedanta Foundation is all about, and we plan to take this initiative forward in a very comprehensive and cohesive manner. And we are hopeful that by the time this financial year ends, this entire thing will be positioned as one of the many modules to follow which work on ground. And our idea is before we actually advocate what we are doing all over, we want to show it as a proof of concept, which will advocate itself. We don't have to really advocate whatever we are trying to do. Let it be the proof of concept talking to the community as a showcase. That's all I had to say. And I would welcome all of you, the students from the 3 colleges and the one school we have in Ringas and the Rozgar Skill Center community and everybody in the corporate office, the faculty of all the colleges, and of course, once again, Mr. Kallol Dotto and Dr. Sen for to this first of the post-COVID WOW workshops. Thank you very much and all the best for this workshop and interactive session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. On behalf of Vedanta College Kolkata, I thank you for coming live and give us some insights and motivational words about the Vedanta Foundation. Before we go on to the show for the day, I would just like to play a small video about the various initiatives of the Vedanta Foundation for the cause and the upliftment of society.
Vedanta Foundation. वेदांता समूह की एक परोपकारी शाखा है। यह शिक्षा और कौशल विकास के माध्यम से वंचित समुदायों के लिए आजीविका सुनिश्चित करती है। फाउंडेशन के 2 कार्य क्षेत्र हैं, वेदांता रोजगार और वेदांता शिक्षा। वेदांता रोजगार के तहत भारत में कुल 280 रोजगार कौशल केंद्र होंगे। इस परियोजना के माध्यम से हम समाज के वंचित वर्गों को रोजगार और स्वरोजगार के अवसर प्रदान करते हैं। वेदांता शिक्षा के तहत हमारे पास 3 सामुदायिक कॉलेज और 1 स्कूल है। इस योजना के माध्यम से हम वंचित युवाओं को गुणवत्तापूर्ण शिक्षा प्राप्त करने का अवसर प्रदान करते हैं। स्कूल और कॉलेज मुंबई, राजस्थान और कोलकाता में स्थित है। ये है हमारे कुशल भारत की ओर बढ़ते कदम। हमें विश्वास है बढ़ते और बढ़ते भारत पर।
Once again, thank you, Mr. Roy, for being with us. Today, we take forward the show with us with Mr. Kallol Dutt. Before we get in with the show, I'll have you all with a brief introduction about Mr. Kallol Dutt. Mr. Kallol Dutt is serving as a labor administrator for the past 2.5 decades, and at present, he is the Joint Labor Commissioner of the Government of West Bengal. He has done his LLB from Calcutta University and Diploma in Social Work from IISWBM. He has done his MBA in HR and Diploma in Training and Development from ISTD. During his journey as a labor administrator, he has served in many capacities, including 2 stints at the State Labor Institute as Assistant Director and Joint Director. Some of his other important assignments includes Deputy Labor Commissioner of Jalpaiguri and Cooch Behar districts and Commissioner of Employees Compensation. He was also the first editor of Labor Bulletin published by the State Labor Institute and has also co-authored a study on impact of recognition of trade unions in industrial relations in West Bengal. He takes keen interest in interacting and motivating students and has taken numerous sessions at IIT Kharagpur, National University of Juridical Sciences, Management Development Institute, Murshidabad, Administrative Training Institute, Calcutta Management Association, and today I have the privilege of having with us at the Vedanta College. Wow, or Words of Wisdom, initiated by our group chairman, Mr. Anil Agarwal, attempts to capture the success stories of professionals from diverse walks of life in bringing them into the forefront for the motivation of the students of the future generations. Today, I have the honor of welcoming Mr. Kallol Dats in today's WOW series to be hosted by Vedanta College and initiative by the Vedanta Foundation. So once again, thank you for being with us, Mr. Dutt, today. So before I go on with the brief introduction and the interaction with Mr. Dutt, all participants who are live today on YouTube, you can post your questions, feedback, if any, with Mr. Dutt. I will take on with these question and answers at the end towards of the show. So to begin with, Mr. Dutt, once again, thank you for being with us. You've been a labor administrator for more than 2.5 decades and currently as the Joint Labor Commissioner. So request you to give us a peek into a typical day's schedule with as the Joint Labor Commissioner of Government of West Bengal. Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Shane and Vedanta Foundation for inviting me for this session. In fact, I did not realize that I can share wisdom. But then while reflecting, I realized that wisdom comes from processing life experiences. And we all, even the participants, the students, they also are wise in their own way. As our journey goes through the life, at different stages, we have different level of wisdom. So wisdom is actually unfolds throughout our life, and it is irrespective of our educational background, success in life, or our socio-economic condition. Even a rickshaw puller, he may have better wisdom than me. After this observation, let me share our daily life of our Joint Labor Commissioner, as Dr. Shane has described. Contrary to popular opinion, government bureaucrats, whether it's a labor administrator or in any other branch, our life is not 10 to 5 life. It is truly 24/7. So after we wake up, our life starts, official life starts by checking WhatsApp and emails. Even before brushing our teeth. It is not after going to the office our life starts, no. So we have to check the messages. If there is any urgent, important things, we need to address immediately. Then going through the newspaper, whether there is any disturbance in my area, or if there is any important development in the field of labor, which needs immediate attention. After these two things, usually before going to bed, we write down tomorrow's work, to-do list. And as Joint Labor Commissioner, the more we move upwards, our action, the type of action we need to take differs. At the level of Joint Labor Commissioner, as I have mentioned, that I look after 3 districts, and each district is headed by a Deputy Labor Commissioner. So my work is more, I think my work is more like a gardener. I have many officers working under him, and I have to ensure that they give their best, because actual actions are taken by them, not by me. I have to guide them and keep them motivated so that they give their best and they feel happy. I'm not performance obsessed. I try to keep a balance between performance and happiness. And I have realized that these are interlinked. A happy person is more productive, and good performance gives you happiness in whatever field. In every field, this is true, even in your domestic life, in your daily life also. So this way it starts, and then problem starts coming up. Even if in fact, one of my deputy labor commissioners, his father is in the ICU, and our in our state, our program is now going on. It's called Duare Sarkar. So I have to keep tab how my officers are functioning, their level of performance. I have to look after the weak points. I have to direct those persons who are not performing and guide, help them. And I have to inquire about, as I have said, my deputy labor commissioner father's, his health also. So it is maintaining my team, giving leadership. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. And this way the day goes on, and it ends, as I have mentioned, by again writing that to-do list in the night. Tomorrow, what is my priority? Where I stand, where my team stands, if there is any challenges that need to be addressed, and my role vis-a-vis my team's role, whether I have any issue that I have to take up with the higher authorities. These are all the things that I need to do. And in between this whole day, you have to meet, visit.
Mr. Dutt, can you hear me? Dear participants, please hold on. There has been some technical glitches at the end of our guest. We will log in shortly within another 1 minute. Please stay online. Thank you, Mr. Dutt. We are having you like again. I think there were some technical glitches. Please continue with your views on your typical day as the life of the Joint Labor Commissioner. We look forward.
Yeah. So the ends with that to-do list where I write down next day's priorities. That is a typical day of a Joint Labor Commissioner. Every day is unique. Every day varies from the yesterday and any other day. And it is really challenging and I think enjoyable.
Thank you, Mr. Dutt.
Yeah.
I think you have rightly said that you have a literally 24/7 schedule, like most other people in the professionals in various other fields. Tell me one thing, like typically as a labor administrator, where you are dealing with the human resources, typically working or interacting face to face or human interaction is very, very important. How have you been coping up with this environment in the last 1.5 years of the COVID lockdown, where there are a lot of travel restrictions and meeting face to face people has been a difficult game? How have you been overcoming during this period?
Actually, we have minimized face-to-face interaction. We are more using phone call and Zoom platform, Google Meet. We have minimized face-to-face interaction, but there is other fallout so far labor administration is concerned. During COVID period, many people lost their jobs. So on the one hand, they come to us, those who are losing their jobs, those people who did not get their wages because of this lockdown period. This is one side of the problem. Again, employers also come to us. They say that we do not have any income, any profit. How can we pay the workers? Now, both sides are true, and we have to, I think, convince both the sides to become more reasonable, because there is no legal solution to this problem. Even during the initial phase of lockdown, government gave a directive to the employers to give full salary to the employees. And some of the employers union, they went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that you sit and at your bipartite level, you try to negotiate it out. So in this type of situation, we play the role of a facilitator and avoiding direct face-to-face interaction. Though even during the peak period also, we conducted face-to-face meeting. When an industry closed down, you have to intervene and take immediate action. And in those type of situation, it is this Zoom meeting or Google Meet, these virtual meetings are not that effective. For initial period, it is effective, but ultimately we have to arrange for physical meeting, taking precautions. Psychologically, it is more taxing than the actual situation, because after meeting so many people, like even now, Duare Sarkar program is going on and we are visiting the camps. It is full of people. Many people are not wearing masks, but still we have to do our duty.
Yes, I understand challenges are abound, but we all need to, as successful professional, overcome the pandemic and get back to our daily schedule as fast as possible.
In fact, Dr. Shain, I would like to add one thing also. Another challenge is motivating the subordinate employees. It is not only the employees, but sometimes their family members, they do not allow them to go out during this pandemic situation. And so it is more of a counsel. Many people are losing their temper, they're switching their phone off. So within my team also, we have to manage those people who are scared of the situation, whose family is scared of the situation. And that is most difficult part, because we have to do counseling with utmost patience. Because if you show sympathy, if you are a bit understanding, then things changes. You cannot, by order, you cannot force people to do certain things when his family is against him. Yeah, that is it.
Yes, as you have rightly said, because most of our current generation, including our earlier generation, has never faced a pandemic of this order. And
Yeah.
because of any lack of precedence, the fear factor overcome our sense of all other sensible judgment. So as you have rightly said, counseling is a very, very important factor in today's dealing with the current workforce. So next is going back in time. Can you remember or narrate some of your childhood memories or any incidents from your school days or your early educational life and any memories from that time?
Yeah, I would like to actually, we learn from failures. I will narrate those examples or childhood memories which has a bearing to my present life. One such is that when I was in standard 9, I participated in chess tournament in my school, but I did not disclose it to my parents. And I won the championship. I came home with the cup. The reaction of my parents was neutral. In fact, in our generation, parents are not so much bothered about their children. So why I narrated this secretive nature, we all bear our childhood, you can say trauma, experience, feeling in our adulthood also. In a TED talk, I heard a TED talk, the person very beautifully described that we have three sides: good, bad, and ugly. We know, suppose I am good at math, I am good at interpersonal skill, communication skill. These are my good points. And we also know our bad points, what we cannot do well. Maybe I'm bad in English. Maybe I lose temper. These all are important, but we need to go beyond that. That the speaker in the TED talk said, we have the ugly side also. That is in our subconscious mind, some emotions play, and those are very important, becomes more important in our future professional life. Suppose you lose temper very easily, then you have to ask why I lose temper so easily. Maybe it is related to your childhood experience or something like that. That experience, winning the chess tournament, but not telling my parents, uh, that is not expressing my emotion, not sharing my success with my near and dear ones, it is still continuing with me. So whenever, even whenever someone congratulates me on some of my success, I feel awkward. And these things, this is really a word of wisdom. Think about this type of emotional problems within you, because apart from your qualification, apart from your skill, the things you are good at, the the things in your subconscious mind actually will rule your life. On it will depend your inner happiness. Think about the life of Sushant Singh Rajput. He had everything, money, fame, everything he got. Why did he commit suicide? You can search in the Google his bucket list, his wish list. He was obsessed with physics, astronomy. He bought a telescope also, but he did not follow his passion. Success sometimes become a failure. Sushant Singh Rajput's success in acting, ultimately, if you take a bigger picture, it becomes his failure. So success and failure is very relative. If you are successful and you are not happy, then you are not successful. So whenever you are pursuing your career, think both success and happiness. You cannot separate. Think about life and livelihood. For me, I cannot differentiate between life and livelihood. Why did I enter government service? Because I never wanted to work for someone else's profit. Profit never motivated me. So you have to identify what motivates you and follow that path. Yeah, Dr. Chen. And these are all related to your childhood experience, how you see life as a child.
So what were some of your favorite subjects in your school days, and how did your teachers influence you in your those subjects and excelling in them?
I was influenced by English teacher, uh, the love for language, but I did not pursue that. Again, I was interested in sociology and psychology, but at that time, no college, no men's college, boys' college offered that subject. So I opted for physics. It is in Bengali, we say Gordalika Prabhav. Everybody who scored good at the exam, they went for science. So I also went for science. And again, this is interesting so far professional life is concerned. I pursued physics. I did honors in physics, but physics was not my first love. And the physics or science that we study at the level of 10 and higher physics is different. Very few people actually understand physics. Uh, Good teacher is rare. And good teacher, many times good teacher influences a student's life more than anyone else. Unfortunately, I did not have any such teacher. I did not come in contact with any such teacher. So I went with the flow. Everybody was taking science. I took science. Everybody was taking physics. I took physics. And then life unfolds. As you have introduced me, I did MBA in HR, then diploma in training and development, diploma in social work. These are all my passion. So all these qualifications came after I started my professional life. So it is not for actually for greater professional success. This subject interested me, so I pursued this subject. Even 2 years back, I did a course in Jadavpur University on applied sociology. So I pursued my passion, irrespective of whether this degrees disqualification gives me any advantage, professional advantage or material advantage. Yeah, Dr. Chen.
So thank you once again. Just to get back, Mr. Roy, Mr. Dutt, that is today in this era of COVID-19, a lot of online courses has become available or popular, conducted some of the best Ivy League colleges from the US. So what is your suggestion to the students and professionals of the newer generation in how to cope up with these new courses and move ahead in life? How, to what extent do you think they are beneficial?
Yeah, they are beneficial. I will share again, I will share my experience. You know, Coursera, there is a platform, Coursera, edX, many other platforms. Coursera was offering free courses due to this COVID period. So in fact, I completed 9 free courses and some of them are outstanding. And very interestingly, we underestimate our own institutions. So as you have mentioned, Ivy League colleges were offering courses in Coursera. One Indian college, ISB, I think Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, they also offered a free course on, interestingly, on happiness. So it turned out I attended around 9 courses in Coursera, and this course was the best. Though initially I was reluctant to take up a course from an Indian institute through Coursera. But the main point is, in whichever field you are in, and whatever your passion is, it is important to keep ourselves updated. Even while using our mobile phone, you need to learn new things, new features. And in any field, nowadays it is said that you need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And this is really important. Whatever you are learning in your school or college, in your graduate or postgraduate phase, after starting your professional life, after doing actual job, you will realize that many of those theories are not practicable, not applicable. Improved version of the theory has come. And another point is, while learning, at least in our system, I have realized that we keep our knowledge as something external. We do not internalize the knowledge naturally, because our focus of education is to get higher marks, not to learn more. Because of that, even you will see many physicists, many scientists, they also believe in many superstitions. So scientific temperament is not present in the scientist itself. So I think that is very important, especially if you are doing learning MBA or something like that. All those theories, all those leadership theories, you need to internalize. Just knowing the theories, there is a difference between knowing and learning. Smoking is injurious to health, we all know. But when you quit smoking or you do not smoke because of that knowledge, that is learning. And in pursuit of knowledge, we should not forget to learn. And learning happens not only in college, in your daily life, even while studying, learning happens while interacting with your peers, with your the staff of the college, with the faculty. Learning is available everywhere, free of cost, and learning is more important than knowledge. You will find many knowledgeable person, many highly qualified person have messed up their life. They have not learned. So whatever course you are doing, it is important to get higher marks, but that is not the only purpose of knowledge. Internalizing the knowledge and keeping oneself updated. These two things are very important for not only for professional success, for inner happiness also.
Taking a lead from one of your observations, Mr. Dutt, you'll find there are a number of studies which comes up in India as well as in the West, that a number of graduates, maybe even postgraduates, remain unemployable in India. So keeping this observations or these reports in mind, we have initiated a various add-on courses which focuses on skill development at Vedanta College Kolkata. Just this weekend, we are going to start off with 2 courses. That is, one is on effective communication, another on digital marketing. So what is your advice to students to focus on various skill-oriented programs over and above their knowledge acquisitions as a part of the regular programs in the universities? What are your suggestions?
Yeah, well, my first suggestion is, I think, so far communication skill is concerned, even digital marketing also, This can be integrated with your regular course also. The pedagogy, the methodology of teaching can be such that automatically the communication skill of the students increase. Because I have, in fact, I also conduct many courses, this life skills courses, soft skills courses. But these short courses, they do not actually develop the skills. This is just a promo, you can say. Any life skill, any such skills can be developed if we practice those skills. Again, these skills should be integrated the mainstream courses, that is students technically more, you become at communication skill if you want to communicate authentically.
Mr. Dutt, am I audible? Mr. Dutt, am I audible? Dear participants, can you just hold on for a minute? Maybe there has been some technical glitches at the guest end. We will try to resume back at the earliest within a minute. I'll request you to hold on for a minute, please. So while we get back to Mr. Dutt 1 second, he is already joining in. Yes. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. So that is what I have, my observation is that these courses, they address the things in a superficial manner. Everyone wants to communicate, everyone wants to interact with other people. So just learning the technique of communication is not sufficient to become a good communicator. Good communicator means that inner motivation or methodology of education. In fact, in business schools, it is more focused on assignment. You have to make presentation. All these things increase your communication skill. So artificially, I think imparting the communication skill is difficult. But breaking the barrier, these courses helps breaking the barrier. Many people are shy. They can be a good communicator. Many people write well but cannot speak well. That barrier can be broken through these courses. Again, integrated view, holistic view is more important. If a student, as a student, if I think, oh, I cannot speak well, I should learn to speak well, I should attend this course, that course, that is not sufficient. If I want to speak well, I will take every opportunity to speak. Practice makes better. The more you I want to, the intention should be to become a better communicator. So for communication skills, if that intention is there, my experience, my life experience says that you will ultimately become a better communicator. One of the method is to attend those skill courses, but that's, you cannot say, see, I have a certificate with me, so I speak well. No. So for life skill, it is that intention to become communicator is more important than acquiring certificates. Certificates helps, or these courses helps you to give a push. It gives you a push, but you have to move forward. The change should come from the students. Yeah, Dr. Shah.
Thank you, Mr. Dutt. Taking a cue to the next question, you will appreciate that the students of the current generation today, in the era of internet and Google, have far more content of information than we had in our college days. But we still find a number of cases where students are still not sure or focused on their career. So going back in your late higher education, how did you decide on your career choices? what influenced you, and how, as a successful professional, you decided to follow the path of an HR professional or as an administrator?
Uh, uh, at the start, I did not follow any specific path. I have that idea that I am here to do something great. It is actually my, at present where I am, it's a story of failure, basically. It's not a story of success. Because I was sure that I will do something remarkable in my life. I did not know what. Uh, but as a plan B, I thought there are competitive exams. I can enter into government service. As I have said, that working in a private sector concern was not in my list, because I could not think of working for profit, someone else's profit. No. At one point of time, I wanted to become a psychologist. So, and my inner thing was that I want to interact with people. Interacting with people was important for me. Helping people was important for me. On the another third point is justice, fairness. These concepts, these principles motivated me. So initially, I thought I will become a lawyer. I did law also, but before the results came out, I joined the government service. Again, why government service? Because in government you can actually serve people, and you are not, though you have your superiors, but you are not working for any individual. You are working for the state. These are the advantages of government service. It goes well with what I was looking for. Then one service, I changed many government service and ultimately landed up here. I chose labor service because, again, for my human concern, and that justice, fairness, these things actually was close to my heart. So I thought I will be able to do, I will be helping to help people much more in this service. These things dictated my decision. Again, as I have said, that you can differentiate between life and livelihood, or you can integrate life and livelihood. I tried to integrate life and livelihood. I know many people who earn a lot and they follow their passion, maybe serving people also during the weekend or in the spare time. They're earning money. Therefore, them the job is to earn money. It is livelihood, and then they lead their actual life that follow their passion in the spare time. I did not uh, aspire to follow that model. For me, life is an integrated thing. So I cannot sell a portion. If I am in 9 to 5 job, I am selling a portion of my life to earn my livelihood. That concept was not acceptable to me. And I will relate my experience also, how these things shaped me. One of my cousin was an engineer. He was working in Virai steel plant, earning well. Uh, I used to ask him his daily life, and his daily life did not appeal to me. I realized that this cannot be a life. Working with machines, earning much, and coming to home, reading magazines. At that time, TV was not there. This cannot be a meaningful life. Meaningful life appealed to me. And again, this is my another, you cannot say advice, suggestion to all of you, that you need not run after money. If you run after meaning, and meaning differs from people to people, we need to delve deep within ourselves to realize what are core values. As I have said, working for others' profit, even working for profit is not within my core value. So I did not follow that path. So working for your core values will ultimately give you satisfaction and meaningful life. At this point of light, I have realized that there are many meritorious people, more meritorious than me, more talented than me, working for lesser salary, and some of them are more happy. And as I have said, happiness is very important in life. Success should be defined by our own criteria. Society or our peer or our parent cannot decide what success is. I have seen many, again, I will relate the experience of some of my friends also. I know one of my friends, he is in the multinational concern in a very high position, executive director. Uh, he writes poem in his spare time. And through that poems, you can realize that there is a vacuum in his life because that life and livelihood is different for him. I have seen another person also. He was into politics, then quit politics. He had some problem with his heart. He was into that MR. He was a sales representative. But he followed his passion. He was a rationalist also. I have seen his followers, how many people's life he changed. And while interacting with people, you will realize that those people who has a dream, who is leading a more authentic life, irrespective of their socio-economic condition, there is a glint in their eyes. They are more alive, you can say. That is why if you compare a bureaucrat with even a CEO of a multinational firm and an independent person, maybe a lawyer, you will realize there is a difference between three persons. Even take the example of politicians. At that age, at the age of 70, the amount of energy they have, I have not seen any other profession. So following your passion is, I think, most important. Everything will fall into place. Have that courage and have patience. Don't compromise on your core values. It will ultimately become futile. And to discover one's core values, you need to introspect. That is very important. For me, I actually went with the flow, keeping my guiding principles. When everyone else was following they're taking up other jobs, like commercial tax is a very popular service in our state. I first stick to my guiding principle. And in life, there is always a trade-off. You cannot get everything. I compromise on one point, that I loved autonomy. That is why at one point I thought I will become a lawyer, because you have more freedom. As a government servant, you do not have much freedom. Even if you want to buy a flat or a car, you need to take permission from the government. That does not go well with my values. But still, you have to compromise some of the things. But again, keep in mind, and if you're not satisfied with your job or with your life, keep looking for way out. Don't settle if you are not feeling settled. If you are not feeling at peace with yourself, don't settle down. Look for better opportunities, which is more congruent with your inner values. And ultimately, I think if that quest is there, you will land up in that appropriate situation. Yes, Rakesh.
Thank you, Mr. Dadaji. You will remain as a role model for the new generations in taking up a career where you want to serve the people for the betterment and upliftment of society. I'm sure our students of the current generations will take a cue from there. Coming over to the next question, you must have faced various challenges and difficulties during your tenure as a HR professional or as a administrator. Typically, during the good olden days in West Bengal, in various other parts of the country as well, when you started off your career, maybe the labor unions were far more aggressive than they are perhaps today. Can you remember or narrate any one incident or a challenge that you faced in your early days of your career, and how did you overcome the same? Any incident that you remember or you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I will share a specific case. When I was posted at Jalpaiguri, in Kuch Bihar, that loading, unloading workers, they are on strike. I think around 28 days, the strike was going on. Our local officer, Assistant Labor Commissioner, failed to resolve the issue. Even the district magistrate called a meeting, they did not attend. Then I have to intervene. I asked my Assistant Labor Commissioner, give me their phone numbers, because I realized that usually the government system works in a very formal way. We issue notice of meeting, we invite them, they come. No. I said, give me their phone number, 1 or 2 leaders. And I talked to them for more than 2 hours. And ultimately, I convinced them to come to a meeting. And without even issuing a letter, both that workers and their employers, they came in the meeting. And at around 11:30 in the night, it was resolved. I had the patience and I had the confidence that, okay, I need not go to them. They will come. I have to patiently talk to them. Around 2 hours, I have to talk over phone and ultimately convince them. But these are, I do not say that these are actually the challenges. More challenging part is for any bureaucrat is that, see, we deal in labor as a labor administrator, we deal with very powerful sectors of society. On the one hand, we have the employers who are powerful financially and otherwise also. And we deal with trade union leaders. Trade union leaders means trade union is basically political parties sponsored. So they are also powerful. One side we have political power and many of them are from opponent parties. It is not always that ruling party. So on the one hand, we have that leaders, political leaders, trade union leaders, and on the other hand, we have that employers. So many times we have to face we have to withstand many undue influence. I think that is the actually challenge for any bureaucrat's life. How to remain fair in a challenging situation without being aggressive. And I have many times faced such situation, and you have to be tactful, and you need not compromise your values. Sometimes you have to face consequences for this also. But as I have said that if you compromise your values, then something will actually prick you. You will lose sleep. And that compromise is not, I think, a good compromise.
Taking a cue from there, as you have rightly mentioned, that most of these labor unions or trade unions are headed by political parties, and on the other side, there is the employers whose profit-seeking goals and wealth maximization is their major objective. Inherently, it appears that their interests are conflicting and against the interests and very pulling off in different directions. So when you are negotiating with these two stakeholders whose interests and objectives are polarized completely, what attributes in you do you think helps you in overcoming these barriers and successfully mediating in these two categories of stakeholders?
Actually, I initially first met with either the trade unions or the employers. I meet them individually and try to understand their desire, their state of mind at present, and what is that they are expecting, their actual expectation. That is the challenge for any negotiator actually, because whatever they are demanding is not their expectation. When you are asking for 500 rupees raise, maybe you are expecting 200 rupees. That is crucial for any negotiator to understand their lowest value, what is their expectation, and the consequences. After understanding the psychology, their priorities, I look at the other party, again talk to them and try to understand their views, their expectation, their fears. Maybe the employer has an order. Maybe the employer need to produce. That is important as a negotiator to understand their fears and their expectations. Then I have to reconcile between both these parties' fears and expectations. And it depends on your skill and partly on the situation. How you reconcile these two conflicting interests. Again, as I have said, I will not say interest, I will say fears and expectations. It is an evolving dynamic process. There is not a fixed formula which you can follow. Actually, and again, your reputation helps. In Jalpaiguri, what happened after I joined, around 3 to 4 months, I it took to understand the dynamics of the trade union of tea gardens. And then a reputation grew that any dispute which comes to my table will be resolved. And that reputation helped, because whenever people are coming to you, when you are going to a good doctor, you expect that your problems will be cured. And it helps actually, even without medication, it helps in curing the problem. That advantage I had afterwards, when people, whenever they approached me, they knew that, okay, things will be resolved. And that helped me a lot. Again, it is gaining trust of both the trade unions and the management. Both of them will be so trusting that they will be able to share their fears and expectations with you. That is very important. And again, background work is very important. As I have said, our job is actually 24/7. We hold a meeting. In a meeting, the things usually get resolved. But there is a lot of background work. We have to deal with every stakeholder. And anyway, another interesting point is that the interest of the workers and interest of the leaders are different. So far, organization is concerned, interest of the proprietor and the interest of the manager who is representing the employers are different. This we need to understand. As a person, as an organization has its own fears and expectations. The individual who is participating in the negotiation, he has also his expectation and fears. A manager who is negotiating, if he can resolve the problem, it goes well. It helps in his professional career. So this is part of his expectation. So his individual interest, apart from the organization interest, these are also important. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dutt. I think you have rightly pointed out that as an administrator or as an HR professional, your credibility should be of the very highest standards. And I think that is not only true for an HR professional, that is true for a professional in any industry or any services. So coming back to the last question of the day, what is your message for the new generation to succeed in life, and how do they should move on and excel in their careers? What is the message would you like to leave on?
I think first, don't get drowned with information. If you search Google on any topic, there will be lots of information. Open newspaper, there are many irrelevant news. Open the TV channel, there are so many TV channels. So there is flooding of information, knowledge, perspective. Don't get drowned in the external world. Try to understand your authentic self. As I have already said, your core values. Choose a career which reflects your love, not your fears. Choose a career which is congruent with your core values. And don't get distracted by what other people say. Withstand a peer pressure. If all of your friends has different priorities, let them have different priorities. Don't confuse get influenced by them to shift your priorities. If you are happy with not a high salary, then so be it. There is nothing wrong about it. But if you love something, follow it with full passion. And I will use 3 words to deal with any situation. First is curiosity. Whenever you are in a dilemma, don't go for advice to others. Don't ask them what to do. Gather more information. Understand other people's perspective before following them. Second is compassion. Compassion actually helps us to connect with other people. And third is courage. Courage to follow your love, not your fear. In any profession, there is a fear of failure. And again, failure and success are relative. As I have said, what maybe my friends also think, some of my friends think that I am a successful person. But as I have said, if I look myself from the eyes of my 23 years old version, then I am a failure. So it's absolutely relative. The person who is missing the medal in the Olympics, from that perspective, it's a failure because he could not get a medal in Olympics. But think about yourself, if I can represent India at the Olympics, that is the success. So success and failures are not absolute, these are relative. Inner happiness is more important. Living up to your values is more important. And be authentic and face the consequences. That is, I think, don't complain. If you are good, if you are honest, you will suffer. Even Jesus Christ suffered, Mahatma Gandhi suffered, many good people suffered. Good quality or your inner values. Values means what? Values means this thing is valuable. You are prepared to pay any price for it. I can pay any price. I can go through any suffering for my child because my child is valuable to you. Or your parents, maybe you can go through lots of suffering because of them, because they are valuable to you. Values are not something tradable. Whenever you are following your authentic self, if you look around, you will see that most of them suffered, from Jesus Christ to even you can find your neighbors and friends. That is the price you pay for following your values. Don't complain about it. And as Steve Jobs said, that accept that life is unfair. I am good, so others will treat me in a good way. No, that will not happen. Then accept that. Don't complain about it. Focus always on your love, on your expectation, on your dreams, on positive things. It will lift you upwards, ultimately. That is it.
Thank you, Mr. Dutt. I think the message is loud and clear. One should always follow his or her passion, then run after money, salary, increments, or high codes and the like. At the end, if I were to ask you one personal question, Mr. Dutt,
Yeah.
life of a professional, whether you are as an administrator or as an executive director or as any other professional, is very, very taxing. As you rightly mentioned, you are almost working 24/7 at times, taking calls maybe even at the midnight or the late hours of the day. So how do you unwind yourself? What interests and hobbies do you usually pursue when you have some spare time? Because that is also an important aspect of any individual or person. So what is that personal side and what do you usually do?
Again, it differs from person to person. First of all, if you enjoy your work, then it is not taxing. Even if you have to receive a call at midnight. Second, I think everyone should diverse his interest, have diverse interests. I enjoy reading books and learning. Learning is also another passion of me. As I have said, I have did Coursera courses, around 9 courses in last 3 or 4 months. So always keep this thing. For many other person, it may be listening to song, it may be watching movies, it may be different. But again, as I have said, if you enjoy the challenges, if you enjoy your work, it is not taxing. Think about your days, childhood days, when you are playing a football under scorching sun. It is not taxing because you enjoyed that. The moment you did not enjoy a thing, it becomes taxing. So take an integrated, holistic view of life, then you need not differentiate between what is taxing and how should I wind up. You need not do that. Because everything will fall into places. Even while going to work, you will enjoy the countryside's view. You can observe small things in life that will give you a joy. In fact, a few days back, I saw in that electric bag, 2 crows were sitting. I clicked the picture and posted in Facebook because and they were actually there was drizzling, rain was there. So usually that crows, they do not sit openly under the rain. But that was a beautiful, exceptional sight. So that is that way, by observing others.
Thank you. I think the message is loud and clear. If work becomes your passion, then no obstacle or anything can stop you in achieving your goals. So thank you, Mr. Kolloldak, once again for coming on, sharing my screen with me today. On behalf of Vedanta Foundation and Vedanta College, which is one of the newest additions under the affiliations of Calcutta University, we have just become operational for the last 1 year. We are already running courses in honors and general, in commerce, science and arts, and we focus truly on holistic grooming of the students beyond focusing on their studies, taking on various activities, exposing them to webinars, passing any cultural activities, and hopefully once the lockdown resumes, we hope to have our students back in campus. So thank you for being with us. And thank you for being my guest for the day. Thank you on behalf of Vedanta Foundation and Vedanta College. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Shen.
Thank you.